So what's going on, guys? Hopefully you guys having a good Tuesday, a good start of your week. Let me check the audio on this. Mic check 212. Mic check 212. There we go. So the audio is working just fine. If you guys are watching on the replay, might want to fast forward. We're gonna give some people some time to get in here. Smash that like button. Double tap the screen or hit the like button below the screen if you're watching the replay. So we got to talk about one of the biggest reasons why men can't provide financially today. And it's a deep rabbit hole. So hopefully you guys can uh, hang on and understand this. What's going on, Chris? My man, Chris, what's going on, man? You doing all right this Tuesday afternoon, this Tuesday evening? What's going on, bro? Tonight we're gonna get deep pause. We're gonna get deep. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna explain a lot of things wrong with society today. And it's gonna explain, excuse me, how society's unraveling, unfortunately. I never thought we'd see the day where we could potentially see a societal collapse in our lifetime. We read about these things in Revelations, we read about these things in different books, and they talk about these things, but yet when we look out, we never expect them to be true in today's modern time. But unfortunately, it seems like we keep getting closer and closer to that period at an accelerated pace. And so today's live stream is going to be eye-opening, insightful, and I hope you guys take away some value from this. Because if we got some overtime, I want to dive into the 20 brutal, honest reasons men don't want to date anymore. After we dive into why men can't be providers today. And it's because of feminism. I'm going to tell you why it's because of feminism. As you guys come in here, see we have some people coming in out of the live stream. Hit that like button. Balenciaga, what's going on, man? Chris writes, and I'll read everybody's chat, so you guys are more than welcome to the chat in the chat room. I love the engagement with you guys. Bro, men have to provide financially and emotionally for women, in my opinion, but that's just me. Yep. Yeah, we do have to provide financially and emotionally. But one of the reasons why it's gotten difficult is because of feminism. And we're living, it's not necessarily our generation's fault to be exact. What's going on, Queasy? Did I say that correctly, Queasy? What's good? What's going on? So it's not necessarily that it's our generation's fault. We're just at the point to where we're the ones that have to live through it because this has been going on since the 60s and 70s. The decline of society has been going on since the 60s and 70s. We're just having to reap the not the fruit, but the negative consequences are primarily coming upon our generation, and it's quite sad. And the internet, yeah, the internet has destroyed the phone, homie. The phone, guys. I'm just gonna say this right now to everybody watching this, and I mean this when I say this because I'm reading a book right now, and I've always kind of known this, but it just becomes more clearer and clearer each and every day. So if you do not write down your goals, if you do not have a plan that you write down and you stick to on a consistent basis, I can almost promise you, you will never accomplish your goals. Why is that? Because we live in a society right now that is constructed to get your attention. Everything is distracting from you. When you walk outside, everything's advertising for you. The phone is distracting you, notifications, social media, dating apps, news. When you watch TV, all these different ads, everybody's auto suggesting you on a consistent basis. So if you guys don't have a goal, a calendar, that you write down daily and that you stick to, I can almost guarantee you will never accomplish anything because distraction is at an all-time high. Chris said, uh, social media ruined everything, bro. Talk about it. What's the book, bro? Put us on. It's called Hyper Focus. Very good book on how to focus and get out of accomplish your goals and focus on what you need to do. Cause bro, like we waste so much time. Like think about the time we just like I seen a recent study where people don't sleep anymore. And it's because you're distracted before you go to sleep. You're scrolling on the phone, and before you know it, you didn't wasted 2 hours scrolling on the phone laying down. And that light from that screen is affecting you to where it's designed to keep you up. And then you're watching entertainment, which is designed to keep you on the app. Guys, they've got you by the nuts. What's going on, Sharice? Brewster, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome. You say you're new? Welcome. We welcome women and everybody. Honestly, sometimes music too, says Queasy. Exactly. It does. Bro, sometimes you just got to shut everything off and just sit there and think, bro. And just sit there and think. It's crazy. Like the way they've constructed society, bro, like you have to intentionally turn off technology in order for you to accomplish your goals. It's sad, bro. People can't even people are so distracted, they can't even be social anymore. You're so distracted that you can't even like think about the Walmart incident where that dude just, he was just getting it 11 people, right? 11 people, he was just getting them up out of there. I'm like, I guarantee you this wouldn't have happened 100 years ago. People with their headphones in, you can't hear shit. People scrolling, you don't notice what's going on around you. People are so distracted, bro. They get into car accidents because of the phone. Homie, the phone, bro, the phone is the source of many problems in society. Let's be honest about this. And people say it ruined dating. Dating was already kind of messed up, but what it messed up when it comes to dating is since social media shrunk the world, some of you guys are watching from different countries right now. So it shrunk the world. So a woman can, if she's attractive enough and she gets the attention of a athlete or whatever guy, she can text and within minutes set up an engagement to a guy that 100 years ago she wouldn't have even known he existed. The women 100 years ago, they didn't even know 6'4" dudes could play sports and be that muscular unless they were in that vicinity of them guys. They would stay at home in their communities, in their tribes, and mind their business, love their family. But since this access to different people around the world is so accessible, that women's hypergamy has gone insane. Cherie said, good topic on your video because you're saying what I am going through. True. Fact. I appreciate we all go through this. When it comes to distraction, when it comes to everything, we're all going through this at the same time. So whenever I'm talking this stuff, I have to make an effort myself in my own life to fix this stuff because, guys, if you're not watching out for your own self and your own attention to where it's directed, somebody else is leading you down a direction you do not want to go. All right, so let's get started with the live stream, the actual topic. One of the reasons why men can't be providers anymore in society. So we're going to take this slow. We can all admit right now that in society, your wages aren't keeping up with inflation, let alone all the 5 to 10 different ways you're getting taxed on a dollar. Like recently, back in the day, an Egyptian slave had to pay 20% tax to the pharaoh. Today, you're getting taxed so much to the point to where it's at 30 to 40% that you're forking over to the government. Meaning that an Egyptian slave is doing better than the average American right now because you're being taxed out of, like, we should be almost, I'm not going to, say the real word on YouTube because, YouTube's censorship. There's no such thing as free speech, but we should already be up in arms, but we're not because of everything I just said, the phone, the distraction. We're in brave new world. They don't fear us rebelling because you're distracted by this little device. Anyways, so wages aren't keeping up with inflation. You can barely survive right now. If you're, it's not out of the ordinary, and you guys are living in the city, you understand what I'm about to say. It's not out of the ordinary for anybody under 30 to be living with their parents or living with roommates or living with their family, sister, brother, whatever. That's not out of the realm of possibility. A lot of people are doing that right now, and it's because you can't find a job, not a good job that's going to pay you enough for you to afford all your bills on your own. Wages are not keeping up with inflation. But how did we get here? How did we get here? See, the government came up with a way to make more money. They're like, ooh, we got this sinister plan to make more money off the people. Let's sprinkle in feminism. I appreciate it, Queasy. Let's sprinkle in feminism and get these women to buy into getting out of the house because we would make more money if we can tax not only men, but women too. Hell, women are, higher in population. So we skyrocket in money if we included women in the workforce. And when we include women in the workforce, we're going to choose them more in education over men. Why? Because it's cheaper to hire a woman than it is to hire a man. Studies say that women are less likely to ask for promotions. So we're gonna let these women undercut the men out of the job market. And the more employees you have, the more supply you have, the less value you have on said thing. And what's even goofier in today's time is you've had women undercut men for jobs. You see women all over the place in roles, leadership roles over men. This is not a foreign concept. The only place you really haven't seen it yet is the presidency, the White House. And we were close in 2016 because Hillary won the popular vote. Thank God the Electoral College elects the president. And that's why when people say your vote doesn't matter, it don't matter on the national level, but on the local level, it does matter. National level, Electoral College handles all of that. And they don't tell you that in school, by the way. Anyways, so we're going to let these women enter the workforce. We make more money as a government off of taxes. We can tax these people. Also, we can get more money from the legal system, do divorce, child support, alimony. As a lawyer, I get a cut from that. Government benefits. These women, they can get all these different food stamps or whatever, housing. But you can't have a man, though. You can get all these things, but you cannot have a man, which is incentivizing women to destroy the family and make the government her dad. So very, 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 very sinister. So they're making more money on taxes, destroying the family. And so then we've gotten to a space where this is how goofy we are right now in society. Women have already undercut men out of the job market. Education, when you go to college, these are just places full of women. Liberal women, they're teaching that ideology there too. So men are like, you know what, screw this, and most men are going conservative anyway. And so the left, they've pivoted, and I'm not here to go left or right. At this point, they're both full of it. They both increase the debt. They both do insider trading. They both invest in the industrial military complex. So all this left and right stuff, it doesn't mean anything anymore. Not right now. So this is how goofy we are in our economy, in the job market. This is why a lot of you guys can't find a job in blue collar fields or anything. I got anecdotal evidence to back this up. So women have undercut men, and you know who's undercut women in the job market? Immigrants. See, immigrants are just happy to leave whatever bad country they were coming from, and they're just happy to get a job. So women won't ask for promotions, which is why these companies are hiring women. And then also, instead of hiring women, they're like, why don't we just hire an immigrant, because we could pay them peanuts under the table and they're accepted. So as an American heterosexual male, you're third in priority. This is why men can't provide in society. It don't matter if it's blue collar work. Guys, when you go to construction, what do you see? Immigrants. They don't speak a lick of English. And I'm not talking mess about the Latinos. You guys do your thing. At this point, we're going to have to hire you because the American people don't even want to freaking work no more. So we don't have a choice now. It's completely insane. But even if you did, even if you're the 20% of people that do want to work, you can't get a construction job. You can't get a driver job. Guys, you guys know I have a CDL. I drive these big rigs. Guys, they're going to hire, these warehouses are run by immigrants. And they're going to hire them, and they're going to hire each other. People talk about meritocracy. No, meritocracy is not a real thing. People are based on relationships and likability. So these immigrants, they're going to hire themselves. And they're going to undercut you because you know what it actually takes to survive in this economy. You need 20, 25, 30. If you're in the city, really $25, $30 an hour plus overtime to survive. But he's going to do it for 15. And the only reason that he can do that, the immigrant can do that and survive, is because him and his family are practicing group economics. He has a job. He works as a construction guy or a driver. His wife is a whatever. She works in the restaurant in the back kitchen. The kids work bartender, or not bartender, but server or hostess at a restaurant. And so you add those wages up, the guy makes 60,000, she makes 40,000. The kids make 30,000. They have big families, so you know all of them going to be working. So by the time you add up all their wages, their household is $150,000, $200,000. And they practice that group economics, and that's the only way that they can survive in this climate. Because if they were disbanded and didn't believe in family, they would be on the sidewalk struggling like us. But they've effectively made you a foreigner in your own country. Guys, there's certain jobs that you can't get unless you're bilingual. Isn't this sad? This is why you guys are starting to understand all of these disingenuous arguments. He said, my boy going in today. I appreciate it. Queasy, all y'all appreciating it. I appreciate it. You guys hit the like button as you guys come in here. As new people come in here. Double tap the screen there. If you're watching the replay, just hit the like button on the. But now you understand these disingenuous arguments and how insane they are when you hear Tommy Lauren and you hear Laura Ingraham and all these different people, these people that are conservative, but they're feminists really. How are you a feminist? How are you a conservative, traditional woman and you have a career? It's not in the Bible. That's not. Anyways, we're not going to get into that today. But then you hear these disingenuous arguments where men are economically unattractive. Well, since you entered the workforce, you flooded the market, oversupplied the market with employees. If you're a business owner, why would you pay the market rate when there's an excessive amount of workers? If I don't want to, you say you're a good worker, but you want 25,000 or you want $25 an hour, and I can hire this woman and she'll work it for 18. I'm trying to maximize profits, right? I'm going to hire the 18. And guess what? If I can get an immigrant that can work for 15, I'm going to do that. And so society is in a conundrum, right? We talk about ICE, and yes, we need ICE and all of this stuff and border control. We absolutely do. But if you're a capitalist owning a business and you're maximizing profits by hiring immigrants, are you going to allow ICE to come take your immigrants? No, you're not. So ICE, when you see these ICE arrests, these are low-level people that were easy targets. They're not going to get 100% of the immigrants out of the country, guys. Maybe 20, 30% in 4 years. They can stop people from coming in, but the people that are already here, they're already hard to pinpoint. And plus, I mean, the immigrants that are protesting and making themselves visible, they're idiots. If they just were laid back low, they would have made ICE the job for ICE a lot harder and tougher to rat them out and smoke them out, if you know military strategy. And so society is in a complete conundrum right now. None of this stuff don't make any sense anymore. And it's affecting how, guys, if you can't provide financially for your family, guys, part of your attractiveness is your resources. You can be ripped all day long, but if you can't hold down a job, if you can't pay your own bills, no woman is going to deal with you long term. And so this is hurting your mating opportunities, this financial crisis. What you mean? What's going on, Detroit Coalition? What you mean you don't know, bro? What's up, Queasy? Say, nope, it doesn't. Crazy, right? Part of your attractiveness is your finances. Facts. Yes, bro. It is. You got to be the total package, man. Like, it does you no good if you're a overweight person, overweight guy, and you have money. Well, people are just with you because you're money. You have money. You don't have any. You're not attractive. And nobody envies. Let's be real. Nobody envies a rich guy that's overweight. You're more likely to envy a basketball player that makes $1 million than a billionaire that's overweight. But at the same time, you can't be ripped and in shape. Yeah, you have a lot of intercourse, but these women won't take you seriously and you won't have a family. Or if you do have a family, you guys will be broke because you can't hold down a job. And it's because society has constructed it to where men can't be providers anymore. This is why women are so comfortable telling you that they don't need you, because they don't need you in the resources category. Why do you think there's such a market for hobosexuals? But most men, we don't care about a woman's finances. We want to take care of ourselves. And we know that women, we're going to get left if our woman makes more than us. We're not being insecure. That's logical. Cherie says, as a woman, I know how difficult on job and get an apartment as well as everything going to um, HIBN and food and college as well. Exactly. It's completely insane right now. It's completely insane. And so when you hear women say men are economically unattractive, well, you women entering the workforce killed wages. It stagnated wages. You're the reason why we can't find a job. You're the reason why we're economically unattractive. That plus the immigrants, we're third, fourth, fifth in priority in hiring. And so, if you guys are looking for a job, get in that. Don't even worry about anything except AI related jobs at this point. And you guys better hop on them jobs right now, because in about 5 years, people gonna catch on, and that's gonna be the new thing. And the job market is gonna have to shift. It's gonna shift again. It's gonna make another big disreplacement of people. I mean, we're heading down a place now, guys, with artificial intelligence where UBI might have to be a real thing, because it's AI can do whole business operations. So the economy, and then you hear these disingenuous arguments. Here's more of these disingenuous arguments. I don't want to do 50-50. Well, I know you don't want to do 50-50, but the economy and wages being stagnated so much that it takes two incomes for you guys to survive. And guess what? That drives up your expenses when you guys have a child. Why? Because Now you have to pay for daycare. What used to be a role for women, a gender role for women, is now an expense. Greasy said, I'm trying to get into the Army. Army is, if you know, I mean, you can easily, I'm looking for the right terminology. You can easily work that system. You go in there for 4 years, and then they'll pay for your college and everything. Like, you can really work that system really well. So I don't think we're getting into any wars anytime soon. So what's the fix? Detroit says. We're gonna get to that later. But really, it's just a hope strategy at this point. But we're going to get to that later. Give us about 10, 15 minutes. We're going to get into that. But guys, you know what the irony about all of this is when it comes to women in the workplace? Here's the irony about this whole thing. Studies have shown that the most of the jobs that women are working right now are nurturing jobs they used to do for their children and their families. Think about it. Nurses, they're nursing on other patients instead of nursing on you. Being maids, being servers, bartenders, things they used to do for their husband at home. That's the irony of this whole thing. They're so comfortable working and doing motherly duties for everybody else except you. They'll do it for their boss before they do it for their husband. And that's completely utter ludicrous, because your husband is the person that's going to lay you down when you are sick and in bad health or pass away. He's going to give you his benefits if he passes away before you. He's the one that's going to protect you if somebody comes in the house. Your job, your boss will lay you off for any reason at all. But they're more loyal to their job than they are to their family. They'd rather do their duties outside of the home. Because, guys, these women today don't want to cook for you, but they'll go cook for other people. They don't want to do laundry, but they'll do laundry for the patients at the nurse at the hospital. Unless they're getting paid for it, they don't want to do it. They think it's slavery. And guys, we're heading down a path. None of what we're doing right now is sustainable. At some point, we're going to come to a crossroad. We're going to come to a breaking point. We can't keep going down this road, because we're already seeing little bits and pieces of evidence of the fracturing in society. Have you noticed that violence has spiked recently? We had the Manhattan thing. Then we had the Walmart thing in Michigan, which is completely, utterly insane. How do 11 people get ice picked? That's complete, utter ludicrous to me. This dude running around, like 11 people, bro. And you know what the crazy thing is? What's even worse is that this feminism, workplace stagnation, family problems, it isn't just an American issue, it's becoming a global issue. Two-thirds of the world are struggling to produce children at the appropriate rate. China, their women are having one kid, 1.01. In America, we're having 1.6 kids per woman, per family. I don't know if you guys can put two and two together, but that will collapse just by itself whole societies. Think about it. Who's going to take care of you? Who's going to work the jobs for you? See, the intelligence in having big families is that's your kids are your retirement plan. You know, back in the day, somebody look at your parents. Your parents had a whole bunch of siblings. One of their siblings took care of their parents in the final days. How are you going to do that when you have one kid and the one kid is working in Washington and you're in Florida? And they're talking about getting rid of Social Security and people's 401ks. Yes, it's good to have a 401k, but as soon as you bring that out or take that out, it's taxed. And you better hope that money stays up with the cost of goods because gas isn't going any lower. The cost of a burger isn't going any lower. Plumbing isn't going any lower. Property taxes, you're going to have to pay property taxes. And depending on where you stay, that property taxes can shoot up or down. Typically up. So we're in a conundrum right now. Like I said, I know tonight's live stream might be a harsh one, but it's a real one. It's a much needed one. It's a wake up call. It's a insightful one for you to understand what's truly going on right now. Detroit Coalition says, how do we fix this? Well, people are in Trump and China, they're attempting to try to pay these women to have kids. And that's not going to work. Studies have shown that doesn't work. It's not going to work. You have to get into these women's heads, meaning that you have to rewire and restructure the culture. You have to, guys, if you want to correct this, you have to really eliminate all the propaganda of feminism and go back to traditionalism overnight. And that's going to be met with heavy backlash because these women are enjoying their freedom. But here's the crazy part. These women, they got to pick a struggle. You weren't happy apparently you weren't happy back in the 1950s when America was at its best. You weren't happy then when you were at the home, but you're not happy now that you have all this freedom. Which one do you want? You're going to have to pick a struggle. So you suggest women work to add to the household work when they get home and have more kids, even though the cost is rate. Well, we wouldn't have these issues if they weren't out working, if men were the sole ones. Because you got to think, back in the 1950s, guys, your great grandfather had one job and he worked at one job for 30, 40, 50 years. Had a retirement. He could pay for a car. He had 2 cars in the driveway. Have a house. And pay for 3, 4, 5 kids. I mean, it's not going to happen anytime soon, Detroit. I'm just suggesting, hey, we're going to have to get rid of feminism first and deconstruct this culture. Because the mindset of these women is to rebel. That's the whole point of feminism. They hate men. So they're going to not listen to you. They're not going to put you at the head of the household. Yeah, that was the greatest economic boom. Exactly. That was the peak of America. Post World War II, that was the peak. Absolutely. But really, our economy started to slip whenever we got off the gold standard, whenever our money would stop being backed by gold. That was the end of the economy, slowly. Now we're in debt we can't pay back, and Trump just added to it with this new bill. But women are going to have to make a choice, man. Like, you weren't happy whenever you were in the 1950s in the whole family. You were in a family and you had a family structure. Now you can't get a family structure because you want to have a kid after you've been in these streets for 10 years. And men don't want that super stretched out uh, center cut that you have. And so you can't find a marriage. You're lonely more than ever, but you're free. Back then, you weren't as free, but you were more happy and you had kids and a family. And so you're not going to get everything. You're going to have to pick a struggle. Life isn't this video game where everybody gets everything. You're going to have to struggle in something. All of us have different talents. Some people have 10 talents. Some people only have one. Some people are only charismatic. Some people are good looking, charismatic, can sing, whatever. So women are going to have to pick a struggle because what we're doing right now, it isn't working. So to fix this, we're going to have to correct this culture and eliminate feminism. Then after that, we're going to have to kill or destroy, for a better phrase. We're going to have to destroy birth control because birth control, see what it's doing to women is when you have birth control and when you have, we need to eliminate birth control and, baby deletions, the A word. I don't know if we can say that on YouTube, but when you have these things in place, this is what allows women to sleep with men and have intercourse with multiple men without the penalty of them having a kid. See, if we didn't have these issues, women wouldn't just be frivolously having intercourse with men that they wouldn't marry. Back then, in the 1950s and all this stuff, they didn't have this stuff. So whatever person they wanted to get pregnant by, that's the person that they wanted to be long term. Today, it allows women to have a 3 or 4 phase and be in these streets. Because even if she does get pregnant, pop a pill, done. See, if we didn't have these two things, the baby boom, we'd have another baby boom. Corrected feminism. Now, all these things are a far reach because women have been free for so long, they don't know what that other side is like. And so you literally have to start over with a new generation of women and program them just how you're programming them to be feminists from a young age through all these movies and uh, ideologies in school and everything. You'd have to program the children, the young daughters from a young age to be good, wives and be in the household. But these women that are having these children, they won't allow that. And so, I mean, it causes way so many problems. Like women today, they have the freedom to work and have a career, but nature doesn't care about your career. By the time you realize that you want a family, you're 28. You're 30 years old. Now you're rushing through trying to get a relationship and maybe have 2 kids. And since you're rushing through that process and being desperate, then you're going to realize that you chose a man you don't like. So you're going to end the relationship anyways, break up the family anyways. And women can't raise children, especially not boys. Half the hell, 80% of the prisoners in the jail system come from single mother held households. So these problems just keep getting worse. We have like problem on top of problem on top of problem on top of problem on top of problem. Women aren't the scapegoat. Feminism is not to be fought, it's to be protected. I disagree wholeheartedly, Detroit. How does feminism help society? I've heard abusers say the same things you're saying now. I don't think you are though, abuser. How are we abusers when we're giving statistical data as to why feminism isn't working? So if then what's the problem then? So it's men. How are we the problem? We can say the simps are the problem because they're empowering women to go down their self-destructive path because simps will allow a woman to do whatever she wants. Feminism is not to be fought. That is crazy, bro. Feminism is to put the woman above the man. This is literally the Jezebel story where she's controlling King Ahab. And then she typically destroys the whole kingdom because women, guys, women in leadership positions, they're not that good. Guys, yeah, there is a few women that can work these leadership roles, but for the most part, they can't. Feminism is about equality. Do human beings believe in equality? What is what is they don't make equality is not a thing on this planet. So if you work 10 hours a day, putting in more effort trying to make a living, and this other guy over here works 3 hours a day and he's lazy. Equality, it says that both of you guys should get paid the same. But if we were to ask individual people on their own, hey, I'm working 10 hours, should you get paid the same as a guy that makes that works 5 hours? Most of the people would say no. Civil societies believe in equality. Detroit, human beings do not believe in equality. Some of these women be mad. They look at some of these women that are in relationships and married, and they're like, how is she married and I'm not? That's not equality. There's no such thing about equality, bro. Like if the cops get a call from Jerry Jones and they get a call from Joe the plumber, which person are they going to? They're going to Jerry Jones because he has a higher stake in society. His life means a whole lot more than Joe the plumber. That's not equality. Had some equal responsibilities in ancient African societies. You mean like those Dahomes where they got conquered, where all them soldiers they had a whole bunch of they had a whole army of women soldiers, and when the French came in and fought them, they didn't lose not one soldier. They just pretty much massacred that whole army of women. But if you watch The Woman King, you think they won. Revisionist history. Guys, I can promise you, if you follow a woman and you let a woman lead you, I'm willing to bet my whole savings, paycheck, that your life will be screwed 5 to 10 years from now. How many women get assaulted by men? Quite a bit of them. I'm not saying all men are innocent, but how many stories recently have we seen where women are making up false allegations? We look at this Cassie thing. People think Cassie was a victim. No, she wasn't. There was the reason why that story and that trial fell apart, and we know Diddy is he hit her on live TV, on video. But she's not innocent. She used to pay for male or escorts. She There's text messages of her agreeing to this stuff. Are they all false? No, they're not all false. But since so many women launch these false allegations, you can't tell the real ones from the fake ones. Look how Shannon Sharp this guy did. He literally had to settle because he didn't want to pay. It would be more expensive to prolong the case than it would to settle it. And a lot of men get assaulted or have been assaulted, but they don't report it. Why? Because nobody believes a man when he reports that a woman assaults him. And so I'm not discrediting the portion of women that have been done wrong by men. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is don't have a blind spot to think that to hashtag believe all women. If you believe all women, and if you let a woman lead you, I can guarantee you your life will be screwed. A lot of women have gotten men deleted and taken off of this earth off of lies. Think about all the situations where they got their brother, their father, to come crash out over a guy that she wronged. And because he left her, she couldn't take it. So she lied and made up a story to her brother or father to go confront this guy, taking her word for it, and he gets deleted. Men used to protect women, they still do. Until someone told y'all that women were the problem. This is insane, bro. So what percentage of men or women do you think get assaulted, Detroit? And before we're about to get off this because people are leaving the live stream because they don't want to hear this argument. They've heard this argument 1,000 times. I mean, Detroit, you can believe what you want to believe. Um, it is what it is. These are these kind of arguments where they just go in circles. There are real women out here. That's true. They're just small in the percentage. So do you guys want to get into, because we got some overtime. You guys let me know if you guys are still in here. Chris and all you guys are still in here. Um, if you want to quickly go over, because we got some overtime in here. Otherwise, we can cut this live stream off if you guys have had your fill. But we could go into the 20 brutally honest reasons men don't want to date anymore. We could just save this live stream for the weekend. We could just probably just save this for live for the weekend. Because I have an article right in front of us that we could detail and go through. Yeah, this seems like a good one to go over on this weekend. So yeah, guys, we're in a conundrum right now. Society is working against you as a man, trying to ensure that you don't have the capability to provide for yourself, let alone a family. Um, and plus, if you do, even if you do have a job right now that you can currently provide right now, the job market and innovation within technology is so rapid. We're talking about 3 to 6 months. Every 3 to 6 months, there's a major innovation that can disrupt the job market or whatever. That the job that you're currently working right now might not be there 3 years from now. So we're living in a job market landscape where you have to pivot and adapt every year or two. Peace out, Detroit. And so even if you do have the resources to provide for your family right now, you can't relax on your morals, because we don't live in a time where the same job is going to have the same benefits with the same pay and keep up with inflation for the next 20 years. Those times are eliminated. So no man in this job market is safe, whether you can't or can find a job. Things are changing ever so rapidly. It's hard for you to keep up. I mean, you guys seen this stuff. Recently there's been a study, not a study, but it's just job market data where it's like 300K, over 300K black women just got laid off. Like, bro, nobody is safe in today's job market, even if you do have a job. And plus, these career women, they're so hot, they're so stressed out trying to make finances and work their job and all this stuff, and trying to find a man on top of working 12 hours a day and commuting back and forth to work an hour each day and find time to work out. They don't have the energy to go out and date and meet people. You're too exhausted, too busy, which is just adding more stress to you, making you not unpleasant to be around and deal with, further pushing you down into the conundrum of the possibility that you can't find a relationship. Then you find out most women, they date out of their range. If you guys seen the T app and you seen the expose between the men that are on the app that they're trying to expose versus the women that are on the app complaining, if you guys go back and look at that photo that's going viral or that went viral early in the week, you would find that most of these women don't qualify for the men that they're chasing, and they're wondering why they can't get a relationship. They're dating out of their range. And so this conundrum goes both ways. It's contributing to males being unhappy and both women being unhappy as well. None of what we're doing right now is making any of the sexes satisfied, which is why this way is unsustainable and we have to fix it. or let civil unrest happen and let the new world order take over and we go back to old-fashioned primitive nature and let it fix itself. And that way is really ugly and brutal. And I promise we don't want to go back to that. We don't want that to happen. So, you guys, I appreciate you guys coming in here and being on the live stream. Hopefully, you guys got some good value out of this. A lot of people were enjoying the first 30 to 35 minutes of the live stream. Very insightful, I could tell from the people in the comment section that were chatting in this chat room. You guys be on the lookout for this weekend. I'm going to be live streaming Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, we're probably going to do this 20 brutally honest reasons men are refusing to date anymore. That's going to be Saturday around 1 p.m. So you guys been on the lookout for me at that time. But for the rest of this week, I'm going to be dropping some short YouTube shorts and be dropping some short videos, 10 to 20 minute, 8 to 16 minute long videos. So I appreciate you guys. You guys have a good rest of your night. Get rested for work. Go make you some money, grind, do what you have to do to make your dreams come true. I'll see you guys in the next one, man. I appreciate it. Peace.